It might be a no-brainer now, but Animal Crossing didn't have a surefire way into Smash right away. Animal Crossing first being represented all the way back in Melee as a trophy. And fun fact, the original Animal Crossing didn't come out in the West and was simply known as Animal Forest on the N64. It had to be pushed to the GameCube and renamed to Animal Crossing later, and that's why the trophies like Tom Nook are simply just named as future release. Now, considering how popular Animal Crossing would later become, I mean, the series is just massive now, you would think it would be obvious that they would put an Animal Crossing rep in Smash, maybe even Brawl, but nope, although this would be the first time an Animal Crossing stage would be added, being Smashville. It's actually a very iconic stage to even competitive play because of just its standard layout. Well, Sakurai stated he didn't know how an Animal Crossing character would work in Smash. He says that a lot, I'm not gonna lie. And sometimes I think he says that when a character doesn't work, they get added into Smash anyway sometimes, and Ridley fans will remember. It looks like Villager finally made it into the game, and Sakurai saying that they finally figured out the moveset inspiration for this type of character, and it was a smart move, making Animal Crossing have elements from the actual games, but yet still making him work as a fighter. And despite Animal Crossing having no fighting, they actually pulled a smart way of making their moveset work, like using the items and the tools, making them a part of Villager's moveset. Also, can we get Tom Nook in the next sequel, by the way? I would just have him like throw money around or something, or have him throw like a bunch of props. It would be kind of funny. I think it would be cool. Make it happen. Villager's design in Animal Crossing is representing Animal Crossing city folk, with the villagers' costumes even having a female variant, one of the few characters in Smash having the different models for each palette swap, which I actually think is a really cool way to add skins in this game. They aren't just, the basic red and blue palette swaps. And Villager was revealed all the way during Smash 4's very first newcomer trailer, and this was all the way back during E3 2013. The Villager is actually a really strange character, being more of a projectile zoner with some strong defensive tools and camping options. His jab is actually the boxing gloves from the Animal Crossing games, and it's a 2-hit jab in this game, and it can combo into Villager's stronger tools. Dash attack, Villager will fall over and throw a pot, and you can use this move as a ledge trapping tool. It goes a fair amount of distance. Forward tilt is an umbrella attack that's a spacing tool. Down tilt is actually a KO tool. It actually has a lot of range. His best tilt by far is his up tilt. The stick it's very powerful, all right? I don't understand why, but this little twirl, you don't want to get hit by it. One of his most powerful KO tools, as it lasts an extremely long period of time and it's a great anti-air tool. Easily the best tilt in his kit. His smash attacks continue into the weird, strange quirkiness. They're actually kind of good. Like his forward smash is the bowling ball. The move is really strong and can KO between 65 to 90%, depending on how long it's charged. However, it does have bad range and end lag that definitely holds it back a little bit. However, the bowling ball falls down ledges, which is actually a really good tool for trapping and edge guarding. It's an interesting utility for a smash attack. However, you do have to be careful because this tool can easily be reflected because, technically it's a projectile even though it's also a smash attack. It's a little weird. Up smash is a firework attack and the move is actually not that powerful, but just stick to the up tilt, I guess. Don't worry about up smash. Up tilt is really good. That's your up smash. Villager is actually pretty okay, I'm not gonna lie. He's clearly built different in this game. Up smash is pretty average KO, around 120%. However, it's hard to link its hits together properly. And down smash is the shovel attack, and you can dig people into the ground, and it can be used out of shield. It also cannot KO characters that are on the ground. It's mostly just a powerful setup tool. Nair is a cartwheel jump. It is a long-lasting attack with strong amounts of knockback. It is actually a strong out of shield tool for breaking combo options due to its long-lasting hitbox. It's basically a sex kick Nair. And then also the forward air is a slingshot attack that goes really far. However, it does very little knockback. Also, back air is almost pretty much exactly the same here. Up air and down air are also very similar attacks, almost the exact same move, just sort of flipped. However, there's a turn-up attack that does damage depending on how many turnips are being pulled, which is basically RNG. Down air can actually meteor smash if you have all 3 turnips, and it deals a lot of shield damage. This is actually a strong finisher that deals horizontal knockback, while up air is basically a combo extender. Villager's grab is a tether grab, and it can grab the opponent into the net, and has a lot of range, although it does have plenty of startup lag when it misses. And pivot grab is definitely Villager's less laggy option for grabbing. Forward throw is a pretty average throw with low amounts of knockback. Up throw is good for juggling, and down throw is a combo tool that can lead into his tilts. And back throw is actually a KO tool for Villager. It can KO roughly around 160%. It is one of the strongest KO throws in the game. He also has by far one of the strongest recoveries, if not the strongest recoveries in the game, being Balloon Trip and Lloyd Rock. Up special can be dangerous if the balloons pop, but it's very rarely going to happen. He will be put in a helpless state though if this does happen. To be honest, this recovery tool is really fast, and I've never really seen the balloons pop that often, as you can easily be hit from the bottom of the stage and come back. Lloyd Rocket, it goes very far vertically. Villager is just all around a really strange character with anti-projectile tools, like Pocket more specifically, being his neutral beat, allows Villager to literally take any projectiles that are coming his way and then use it again. By pressing the B button, it will do 1.9 times the damage, and it'll become much stronger. Also break shields with reflected projectiles. It's actually kind of neat. There's a little bit of frames of invincibility. It can beat final smashes, which is kind of funny and broken in some way. He's just, standing there menacingly. Villager is really difficult because of just his defensive tools that really lay into his ability to zone, and also he can use the opponent's own tools against them. This is sort of Rosalina's similar niche in Smash 4, having strong anti-projectile camping tools. This really countered certain characters in the game if they were more projectile defined. Most importantly, Samus, Lucas, or Ness, for example. It could actually get beat by Villager because he just has the tools to reflect their projectiles back, use their tools against them, and it really just beat them. Like, it made some of these matchups really bad for these characters. Lucas and Ness's own recovery tools can be used against him if Villager pockets them. That's how bad it is. So you can clearly see Villager's weird niche in the meta is punishing these recoveries, punishing projectiles, and using these moves against them. And then also there's the tree, which is a multi-step special move. The first step is where the Villager will plant the sapling. The sapling doesn't really do much unless you obviously have Villagers really done custom moves on. But we don't have to talk about those. They're really silly moves. But if we were to talk about them, Villager has some really busted ones. If Villager uses down B again, he'll have a watering can, and then if you choose to water the sapling will grow to a tree. The tree will immediately rise up, and it deals a lot of damage and knockback. It can even KO as early as 85%. You can use the watering can to push opponents away, as it does have a hitbox on it, and Villager can sort of use this as, a gimping tool. The tree will stand on the field for 14 seconds after it's sprouted, and then this will be the next phase of this move, the axe. This is the more well-known version of down B, as you can chop the tree down. It does an extreme amount of knockback and damage, dealing 25%, and the tree can even spawn a piece of fruit or wood once it's chopped down. Some interesting things are the axe actually deals 14%, and it can KO at 125%, although it does have a lot of end lag, and its startup is quicker than his smash attacks. You can do a lot of weird quirks with this move, and I know I've been talking a lot about down special for a minute. It just has a lot of weird deep utility, and the tree can fall off ledges and platforms, and it can actually be a decent edge guarding tool as well. He could technically do footstools to 0 to death combos with the wood chip item, which is again really hilarious. If you choose to do that, more power to you. In the balance patches, Villager was actually seen as a really strong character early on, but he would be given a mix of buffs and nerfs. The nerfs though did hurt the character's viability long term. Weird things like making Villager lose their ability to pocket Sonic Spring and Pac-Man's Trampoline were removed, and consecutive uses of Balloon Trip don't really go as far, and they also definitely took some ways of nerfing this recovery tool because it was really good. They did this again in future updates and made its recovery utility a lot worse. They took away that Villager's ability to pocket his teammates' projectiles and doubles, or at least toning it down. Pocketing a teammate's projectile now deals half the damage, which did nerf Villager's really decent utility and doubles. And while on the bright side, they did give his grabs less end lag and more knockback growth and damage for down throw, and giving slightly more base knockback to forward throw and back throw. All in all, they did improve Villager's grab game slightly while nerfing Villager's up special pretty hard. I guess you could say it's kind of expected because it was one of the best up specials in the game. Villager did kind of have it coming, I guess, but whatever. Now, how did Villager do in competitive play? I mean, Villager is a rather strange character. How is this going to go? Well, their moves are actually surprisingly deep. They actually had really hard-hitting moves, and this made Villager kind of a meme in Smash's culture for many reasons. Even in competitive play, they had a clear niche as a character who could zone, one of the best recoveries in the game, so they had that going for them, and they also had a lot of anti-projectile camping tools that no other characters could deal with. Just a 1 in a million type of character archetype-wise, because not many characters are like this, and Villager is actually really strong defensively because of it. And if you get close on Villager, he has many tools that he could use against you, like his tree or his smash attacks, or even up tilt, which killed very early for no reason. Again, avoid the stick. Villager was pretty good. Having a clear, viable niche in the meta, and they did have some infamous matchups like I mentioned earlier where they could rigorously shut down certain characters like the projectile zoners. Early on, the character did have a spike in perception as the character was gaining popularity in Japan. Even in the custom variant of Villager was actually pretty stupid, was really dumb, I'm not gonna lie. One of the most broken customs probably in the game were given to Villager. Maybe one day I'll make a full video on that. Just know Villager was even more stupid with custom moves. And you know, I don't want to give a dark flashback for the people who had to deal with customs Villager, but if you know, you know. Villager was ranked highly when the game first came out at 11th place in the early Smash 4 tier list, but unfortunately the character's early success must have been noticed as the character did get nerfed. Many of the top to high tier characters at the time like Sheik, ZSS, and Diddy Kong did get similar nerfs, however Villager did fall off the most out of all of them. Going to 14th in the second tier list, and then once characters like Cloud and Bayonetta were introduced, yeah, Villager would drop even further down in the tier list, ending up at 17th place. Then going as low at 25th on the final tier list, which is one of the largest drop-offs for a character in Smash 4's meta. He was a staple high tier early on, just became less dominant over time, and you can kind of blame the nerfs and people just figuring out the character, and also Bayonetta and Cloud being introduced too. Smash Ultimate's transition with the character was actually kind of ironic in a way. They nerfed the character even further in Ultimate's engine, which contributed to how Villager is seen in the current meta. First off, Villager is existing in a game where there's characters that are more defined by their swords or their aerials. They're very combo-centric characters. They're very fast and strong in this engine. Despite the massive buffs most characters got, Villager would mostly be left behind, which is actually a little unfortunate. He would be heavily nerfed, and he exists in an engine where it's harder to play defensively and camp. First off, Villager's KO power was massively toned down. The iconic meme-worthy moves like up tilt, like I mentioned earlier, yeah, its KO power was toned down significantly, and even his forward smash's KO power was nerfed. Also, his pivot grab was toned down, having less range. He can no longer do jab cancels. This actually was a major way to tone down his KO setups, and also he has a third jab now. It took away his iconic jab confirm with Axe, and even his Helium up special takes longer to charge, and Villager's even lighter in Smash Ultimate, which is gonna hurt his survivability. And Villager is mostly playing the same type of game plan in this engine, but they all around have less tools and they have less things just kind of going for the character, which really does kind of suck. If you main the character in Smash 4, although many people thought Villager was a toxic character in Smash 4 and deserved the nerfs, but depending on your perspective, they definitely were left behind this time around. Their more floaty playstyle didn't really transfer over well to Ultimate, as there's more aggressive characters in this engine that are rushed down in characters like Villager, and the overall range and KO power nerfs tone down the character a lot. The universal 3-frame jump squat is nice, but every character received that. Pocket has a HUD icon near the bottom of the screen to show what Villager is currently pocketing, which I guess is a buff if you're, forgetful or something, or maybe it's a nerf if you think about it, your opponent can probably see it too. Villager can also pocket things with his grab, which is, kind of neat, I guess. The move also has less end lag, so there is, some things going for it. Side special has more knockback. Down air has a meteor smash now, which is actually pretty cool. Dash attack is faster. Up smash actually hits more consistently now, so this is a great change. Down tilt has improved sour spots, and down smash has more range. His grab is also faster, as his back and forward throw are better, and down throw has more consistent combo utility. Overall, giving Villager a mix of buffs and nerfs. Villager's shield size is improved, up smash has more knockback, and it hits more consistently. Jab has more hit stun with larger hitboxes, and up tilt was given intangibility on Villager's head from frame 7 to frame 25. 5 with higher amounts of hit stun. Up smash deals more damage, up air deals more knockback, and down air has less startup, and down specials planting and watering have less end lag. In competitive play, Villager was mostly seen as a low tier character out the gate. Most people just assumed the character was toned down heavily. Villager seen as a toxic character in Smash 4, so I'm not really surprised that he got nerfed. But Smash Ultimate definitely doubled down on the nerfs, and not only does he exist in an engine where it's harder for him to play his campy defensive playstyle, some people might actually be against it. And I think one last nerf that the character received was he was outclassed by other characters that simply just do this campy playstyle better. And some other characters would be introduced or even get buffed, they would just outshine Villager heavily, like characters like Snake coming back, Young Link, or Min Min, even Steve. I mean, you get the point. Villager is heavily outclassed in this engine on top of all the nerfs, and ironically Rosalina actually had a very similar niche to Villager in Smash 4, also got nerfed, so I think it's kind of ironic that both of these characters got nerfed, and they definitely did this intentionally. Even Isabelle, who was introduced in Ultimate as a semi-clone of Villager, for how much that Isabelle is seen as a low-tier character, some people actually believe Isabelle is slightly better for Villager. That's how bad the character was nerfed. Now, the rankings. Obviously, the worst version of the character is the ultimate version of Villager. The character had very little success in the meta, and even people who tried to make it work in tournament just really couldn't push Villager's tournament presence even that high, which is why he's seen as a low tier character, as a bottom 20 character on most tier lists. He would be ranked at 69th place in the C- tier, and then he would fall to 72nd in the D- tier. By far the best version of Villager is definitely Smash 4, but it's pretty obvious here. Being a more campy and floaty game engine, it obviously complemented Villager's unconventional playstyle in this meta, his range being at the peak in this game. Villager having his stronger KO options. It's kind of ironic though, people slept on Cloud that hard as they thought Villager was slightly better than him at one point, which is kind of funny. It is what it is. It was when the character first came out. No one knew anything. But it's pretty obvious which version is better than the other, and it's kind of ironic. Villager got nerfed a lot in Smash 4 and then also got nerfed even more in Smash Ultimate. A character that just came out and was seen as toxic and then thus got nerfed. That's Villager in Smash. He's alright. Thank you guys for watching the video. There's a Patreon down below if you guys want to get videos early and support the channel in any way. Hopefully you're doing well. Alright, take care. Peace.